All right, we said we get started at 3. This is a little after 3. Can everyone hear me? All right. First of all, I want to thank you all for being here today. It's regretful that we're here for this reason, but it's necessary that we address this. Transparency is what we strive for as an agency. We have to be transparent at all times, even when it's time to talk about things that are internal and tough matters, such as what I'm going to be discussing today. Today's press conference will cover the investigation into 2 Evansville police supervisors and what will ultimately lead to their arrest. I was notified by an Evansville police officer in late April that Sergeant William Shirley, who will be known as Bill throughout the rest of this press conference, and he's a second shift motor patrol supervisor, and his wife, Lieutenant Stacy Shirley, who is the Juvenile Investigations Division Commander, were possibly getting paid for off-duty employment for work at Evansville Housing Authority, EHA, that they didn't work. It should be noted that Bill oversaw scheduling for officers for EHA. Once notified, I immediately opened an investigation into the allegation. It did not take long to find discrepancies with dates that they were turning in to EHA for payment. They both have departmental schedules and personal social media content that had dates that conflicted with the dates they were turning into EHA for pay. Stacy drives a department-issued vehicle, and we placed a GPS tracking device on her vehicle as part of this investigation. During this time, we noticed a pattern of Stacy leaving work early and not putting in time-off requests for those hours. This information led us to talk to them further and interview them. During their interviews, they both made statements that we could further follow up on to verify or dispel the validity of their claims. On May 16th, I played both on paid administrative leave while we continued the investigation. Lieutenant Stacy Shirley's cell phone was seized and a search warrant was obtained for the phone. There were several GPS-located photos that contradicted dates and times that were turned into EHA for payment. There were also several text messages between Stacy and Bill that indicated that they intentionally worked together to receive payment for hours they did not work. We also found messages that indicated they were defrauding Dillard's department store in a similar manner. Dillard's was another off-duty job that the pair had in common. It should be noted that Stacy oversees scheduling for Dillard's. There were messages between the two of them that indicated that Bill was clocking Stacy in at Dillard's while he was working there as an off-duty officer and she was not working. A check into those dates showed that Stacy was working for EPD while Bill was clocking her in at Dillard's. When we interviewed Bill, he indicated that he does not always work the hours he puts in for, but would bill EHA when employees reached out to him about issues over phone or text. When we spoke to EHA upper management, they indicated that they were never under the impression that officers would be paid for simply answering phone calls and text messages. Bill has a department-issued vehicle that has GPS tracking that has a GPS tracking system that rarely, if ever, puts him in the vicinity of EHA properties outside of his regular duties as a patrol supervisor. Bill had several hours that he put in for EHA that were during the same time as his shift work as a shift motor patrol supervisor. While this is still a very active investigation, the information that we have uncovered to this point has led to 2 probable cause affidavits being submitted on the 2 of them, with the highest charge being level 5 felony corrupt business influence, several counts of fraud, and official misconduct. A warrant was issued, and both have been given the opportunity to turn themselves into the custody of the Vanderbilt County Sheriff's Office. They have now been placed on administrative unpaid leave. The status of their employment will be decided by the Police Merit Commission. I would like to end by saying this is the type of thing that no chief, law enforcement agency, or organization would ever want to deal with or expects to deal with. 2 of our own, especially supervisors, going out and doing something like this is beyond reprehensible, and there are hundreds of good officers wearing this very uniform that are left picking up the pieces from this. I commend the initial officer that brought this to our attention. That shows that no one dislikes a dishonest cop more than a good cop. The men and women of this department deserve to be commended because they go out daily and do the right thing. This was an act by two individuals that used their position and authority for the wrong reasons, and they will have to answer for that. At this time, I'll take any questions that you all may have.
Do you have any idea how long this pattern of behavior has been going on?
Our investigation goes back to April of 2024, and again, like I said, this is active still, so we possibly could uncover more. If not, April 2024 is what we have so far.
You figured out an amount.
You guys will get copies of the affidavits. There are several numbers in there that you guys can put together. I have not taken the time to add up each count. The fact that one count is too many, to me, is a problem.
Are you able to go into any more detail about that initial tip that you received from the fellow officer, how they knew that was going on?
Well, this is an officer that also worked in the same capacity and could tell that he was never seeing either of them working there, and just it raised his suspicions to where, you know, they were like, hey, look, can you guys look into this, because I don't think this is happening. And so we looked into it, and surely enough, we found that same thing. So.
During your interviews with them, did they ever indicate that there's any truth to these allegations, or did they say there's some misunderstanding here?
Well, initially, neither one of them said that, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, we're not, they didn't jump on the sword and say I'm committing official misconduct or anything like that. Like with anybody that wants to, cover up what they may be doing, they didn't indicate that they were doing anything illegal. Of course, it made us look into it ourselves and find out on our own.
To clarify, you said that they both have the opportunity to turn themselves in. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you know if there have been any communications between the authorities and themselves or attorneys?
We've been in contact with their attorneys, and they're going to be provided information on how to turn themselves in and go through that process.
I understand you said the status of their employment will be decided by the Police and Rec Commission. When is the next one?
I know it's on Mondays. It's on the same Mondays as the City Council. I don't know if they're prepared to go forth with this. Typically, in these matters, they'll wait to hear from the criminal investigation before they make a meeting and decide on their own.
Situations like this can sometimes affect that public trust. Do you have anything, any sort of message to the public to make that way?
You know, on the outside, I could agree with that. When on the surface, you got two police officers here that are doing the wrong thing, and it's easy to say this is what they do. But I would like anybody that thinks like that to look a little bit deeper in there, deeper than the surface, and understand that, okay, yeah, but once they found out, what did they do about it? And the moment we found out, we opened an investigation, we put them on leave, and when we learned more information, we changed to unpaid leave, and here we are today talking about charges for those individuals.
As far as their work at the Dillard's department store, were they both providing security there? Were they more an administrative role at that store?
They were working as off-duty police officers, extra-duty employment police officers.
And a follow-up to that, could you describe in a little more detail what they were doing for EHA? Were they providing security?
The same thing. EHA properties, they're there as a presence of police security there to maintain order, maintain safety. And that's a common practice at our police department where officers can work extra duty.
Is the extra duty work paid at the same rate, or is it an overtime pay?
It's not paid by the city of Evansville. It's paid by the employer, which in this case would be Evansville Housing Authority and Dillard's. Any more questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. A copy of the affidavits will be provided to each of you, and a copy of a press release will be provided to each of you if you get with Sergeant Ossaker. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to also thank my command staff that are up here with me and standing with me. Again, this is a unified front that we are not necessarily against Bill and Stacy as people, but we are against corrupt activity by any police officer, by any person, and we hold those people accountable. And the fact that they're up here with me, I really appreciate, and I especially want to give a special thanks to Captain McDonald, who oversaw this investigation. Thank you very much.